Hello and welcome back to the Ask Ardyce podcast. I am joined here by Ardyce herself. Do you want to say hello to everyone, Grandma?
Hi, everyone. Glad to be back.
Yes, so this is the podcast, as you all know, where you get to ask my grandma whatever questions you want about love, life, and anything, and she gives you her awesome answers. So I'm going to dive right into our first question. This is from Trudy Steeves, and she says, "Hi, Ardy. I'm wondering what made you laugh out loud today. Sending you a big virtual hug."
Oh, hi, Trudy. Yeah, I've had so many things to laugh out loud about today. I'm not sure where to start. Jan sent me some stuff on my phone that I honestly belly laughed about. She sent me so much cute stuff about people glued to doors screaming for the bingo call to be opened. And just some really good senior stuff. And yeah, and I sit with a table mate named Fatima. And I'll tell you what, I am disappointed if I don't get to have a really good laugh every meal with her.
You know what, Grandma? And that's a great example of how to stay connected during these times. Just like memes and funny little things, you still gotta laugh. And I'm sure some people would be interested to know that you guys still are eating communal meals together. Obviously, you said, your salt shakers and all that are gone. You're just using individual packets so you don't have to touch communal things.
Oh, well, they ask us not to touch each other, and we're sitting four at a table. It's a little hard, but there's just so much to laugh about. I'm really fortunate to have lots of people around me who make me laugh.
For sure. Our next question is from my buddy Alan, and I'll give you some context maybe after I ask this, but he says, "I hope this message finds you well, Ardyce. How, may I ask, do I unfuck my life?" And so, just to tell you how that came up, we had this little challenge called Unfuck My Habitat this week, where we each had to clean a part of our house and show a before and after picture of it. And so he was like, "Well, yeah, but how do I unfuck my life?" So basically, how do I sort out my life? And I thought my grandma would probably have an inspiring answer to, how do you sort out your life, Grandma? How does one do that?
Well, I don't know there. I have to figure out how you messed it up first. I'll be a little cautious just how you word that. I think this tidying up thing and showing the before and after pictures was such a great idea. I think lots of people get lots out of that, to just go into a little corner in your house somewhere and say, okay, this needs to be cleaned up. But I think that one is kind of, you got to figure out what you did first and F it up.
I think that's a great answer. You need to know more about how he effed it up to begin with.
That's right.
Moving right along, my buddy Niku had 3 great questions, and so I'll ask one at a time, and we'll kind of move on through them. So first he says, "Thanks so much for taking time to answer our questions. I have a lot I'm curious about, but we'll keep it to these 3. Of course, please only answer what you feel like." So first he said, "What was one of the biggest challenges you faced in your life, and how did you overcome it? What advice might you offer to us young'uns as we face big challenges in our lives?"
Our challenges are so very, very varied and so very different. And mine, I'm going to say, my greatest challenge was learning to accept that I lost a limb below the knee, and how far I've come, and with the love of family and wonderful doctors and friends and everything, I do great. I do great. But you really, challenges are tough. Everyone is so different, but I really believe who surround you in your times of difficult challenges, whether it be a divorce, an illness. I don't know. I could go on and on with the negative things, which are the challenges we usually have trouble with. But really surround yourself with love if you can. I believe it's just the end all to be all, and if you don't have people to love you, well, then find some of us.
Yeah, absolutely, Grandma. That's a great answer. If you have love, everything else kind of falls into place. And I'll say, to have some resilience and some positivity in yourself too, because my grandma gives us all a lot of credit, but she is somebody who does not sit still also. So when she went through her amputation, it wasn't too long until she was running her own exercise class on one leg and going swimming with me and stuff, so but for sure, having people around you who motivate you to continue doing that is key. So I think that's a great answer, Grandma. Love will take you through it, won't it?
Yes, it will. Yes, it will.
All right, so question number 2. Would you be open to sharing one or two of the most beautiful moments or experiences you've had?
You bet. I'm going to say one of my most beautiful experiences were giving birth to my sons. There's nothing like it, absolutely nothing that can compare to it. There's nothing that can compare to it. That's all I can say. And I think the other ones are my second generation. I'll tell you what, when I saw that, my first little grandbaby, that little Brittany, and we got to go to the hospital, and I just couldn't believe what flesh of the flesh was like. It was just, I know that's a weird thing to say, but it was just, those are the joys of my life.
Yeah, and I have been so lucky to have such a tight-knit family, and a lot of that is just because you can see it on Grandma's face when she's around her family. She's happy to be there, and everybody's happy to be around her because we all enjoy each other's company so much. So I think that's a huge gift that you've given us, Grandma.
That's some cranky.
I mean, then we get good stories, so it's a win-win. It's, we do fine either way. So the third question he wanted to ask, great questions, Niku, I'm loving this.
Yeah, sure are.
So the third question is, if you could offer the youth of the world a few words of advice, lessons, and or pieces of encouragement, what might they be? So what would you say to the youth of the world, Grandma? That could be advice, lessons, pieces of encouragement, whatever you want.
I'm going to say the biggest thing I would like to say to the young people out there, and even all ages, just, don't smoke, don't vape, don't do drugs to an extent, don't do alcohol to an extent, none of those things. There's so many other ways to enjoy life and to enjoy each other. I know some of us use it for false courage, but that is the greatest thing I would like to see go away.
Yeah, and I like how you said, Grandma, to an extent. I want to just be clear to the podcast audience here that you're a pretty open-minded person, and you've had your share of alcohol and partying and all kinds of stuff. But what I love is that you can find joy without those things. And I think that's what you're kind of telling the audience here is find things that give you joy without any negative side effects.
That's right. And I mean, I'm not saying don't be afraid. Don't go out and have a drink with friends. Don't go out and, be wise and have a designated driver and all those wonderful things. I'm not saying don't go out and party. I'm just saying everything with real limitations in our day and age.
That's great advice, Grandma. Absolutely wonderful. So that brings us to the end of our part 2 episode for this week's questions. We were so thrilled to have so many questions from you guys and such lovely questions. And feel free to comment for next week's episode so that we can answer more wonderful things and hear my Grandma inspire us all some more. Grandma, is there anything else you want to sign off with? Anything you want to tell everyone?
Well, this Miranda, you got to know that she kind of has rose-colored glasses where I'm concerned, but I love it very much. But please know that she does. And,
you know what, Grandma? From the comments, I'm not alone. I can tell you that much. Lots of people are loving your advice.
Okay. Just be happy. Be happy, be safe. Stay in when you're supposed to stay in, and keep distances right now. Yeah, just all those good things that they're asking us to do, let's please do it. That's another thing some of the young people aren't doing. They think they're safe to go out and be outside in groups of 20, 30 people. Please don't do it. It's just not worth it. So anyway, I'll sign off now and say have a happy life, and we'll talk to you soon, hopefully.
So that was Ask Ardyce. I hope you got as much out of that as I always do. If you have any other questions, feel free to post them on Facebook, and I'll nag Grandma with some more questions soon.